Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you may be watching this here video. My name is Joshua, and I will be your words of wisdom advisor today. Today's topic of conversation, it's your choice. Allow me to start this by saying, when I say it's your choice, I'm not speaking about actions or choices made by those outside of you or environments that you cannot control. I also want to acknowledge the mental health issues that can go into making things feel like it's not your choice, but that's something you can change. Ultimately, when I say it's your choice, I mean your life. Your life is your choice. A big problem that I see from time to time, as well as an issue that I've dealt with myself, is blaming somebody else for actions that I took because they put me in the headspace, or I should say, they made me believe that it was not my choice to make. And you can relate this to anybody. Fit it where it works for you. I think it's safe to say a lot of us had a very controlling environment when we were growing up, and even in our school systems and beyond that, job places, the workforce in general. But the way that you show up for yourself, the way that you show up in the world is ultimately your choice. It's not your choice to make for how others perceive you. It's not your choice what other people do with their time or wherever they want to put their attention. It's your choice where you put all of those things, where you put your time, you put your effort, you put your passion, you put your attention on, because that is going to ultimately guide you going forward. If you're in a negative headspace, that's what's going to guide you. It's your choice to change that. I'm not saying you can just do it, because a lot of times you can't. And I'm not saying that it's impossible that some people can't just turn that mental switch, but it's a lot harder to do when there's voices in your head that are telling you otherwise to what you want to do. And I'm starting to have this thought process. If you really want to change something, you will. And it doesn't matter how, doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter in what way, but you will. Your behavior is ultimately decided by you. You may have things in your past that affect the way that you navigate life now, but it is your choice to hold on to those things. It is your choice to keep those things in your head and in your soul, in your body, your heart. It's your choice to let those things carry you down or lift you up. It's up to you. It's not up to anybody outside of you. It's your choice of how you behave. It's your choice of how you act. It's your choice of how you speak. It's your choice how you navigate this life. This one life that you for sure have. People get caught up too much in the idea of, what will this person think of me? What if I disappoint that person? What if I upset this person? What if I make this person uncomfortable? If you're being yourself and that makes somebody uncomfortable, that's on them and not you. Future Josh here. Be in charge of your actions. Don't intentionally make somebody uncomfortable. Please. In my opinion and in my experience, anything that is worth putting time or effort into deserves your complete and undivided attention and authenticity. I still can't speak, by the way. But that mindset, that state of being only happens if you make that choice for yourself. Nobody else can make that choice for you. Limiting beliefs are very common for holding you back, for guiding people in the wrong direction. There's only one person in this world who can limit you, and it's you. Don't let anybody else tell you what you can or cannot do based on something, based on whatever it is that they believe in, or any standpoint they have, or their view of you, their perception of the way that you're going. And I don't just want to navigate through the negative aspects of your choices, but also the positive. It is your choice to get healthier. It is your choice to sit down with yourself and actually experience what it's like to be with you when nobody else is around. There are so many opportunities for self-discovery when you sit with yourself and when you analyze the things that you do, the choices that you make, the way that you see things, the way that you perceive others, the way that you think mentally about anything around you or anyone. There's a lot of good that can come from just deciding that you want to switch that mental state. And I know some days are hard. Some days are really tough and you just don't want to get up. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You don't want to think about things that you feel like you have to think about. And much like I said in a previous self-love video, you have the right to take care of yourself. You have the right to rest, but don't give up. That is number one. Resting is not giving up. Resting is not being lazy. Resting is not throwing your life away or your dreams. I feel like in previous generations, they might have had that concept of just push, 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 always, all the time, 100%, give it all you got every single day about every single thing that you do, which I don't disagree with, but acknowledge when you need to take a step back and rest. And if it hasn't been said before, I feel like I have an opportunity to say it now. Pushing through the pain is not always the right answer. Sometimes you need to sit with it. Give yourself the opportunity to take a step back and let it run its course, because only then can you truly let it go and move forward with yourself or whatever you're doing with your life. The overall thing here is it is your choice to make. It's not theirs. It's yours. I think it's safe to say as well, the more positively you think about yourself and the decisions that you make, the more that you take in those lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you've made, the more positively you will see the outer side of things. I've heard a lot and seen a lot of people talk about how the environment that you grow up in will shape the way that you become. And that may be true, but it doesn't shape who you are for the rest of your life, because eventually that environment is going to change, whether you're doing or not. Now, understandably, there are some choices that you cannot make because some people force it upon you, as in early childhood, things that your parents may or may not force you to do, responsibilities that may be weighed on your shoulders to take care of when it is not your responsibility at all to take care of. Developing that mental fortitude to make the right choices, even if they're difficult, is the most important thing to changing your mentality towards anything. Everything is a choice, whether it's a choice that you have that could ultimately help or hurt somebody, or a choice that you may make that will change your life forever. I'm not going to just sit here and be like, oh, be positive and everything will go your way. No. There's a lot of times where you have to sit down, you have to do that inner work. You have to take a look at yourself. You have to do these things to make these choices that may or may not be the toughest decisions you've made in your life. But I will say, once you make the hardest decision of your life, every other choice becomes easier. Think about that for a second. Sit with that. What if the hardest choice that you've ever made, think about that choice and think about where you are now. Do you think you would have done anything different prior to making this choice? Was there a better choice? Was there a choice that you really feel like you couldn't have made? I spent a lot of my youth allowing people to choose things for me. And I'm not just referring to my parents and my environment in that situation. I'm talking about later down the road, jobs, even. A lot of 9-to-5s these days expect you to break your back for no extra buck. That's just the truth. And I won't sit here and say that you can't do what you got to do, because do what you got to do, but also acknowledge that you putting in that extra effort in those situations is your choice. They cannot force you. And if they try to force you, then you know you don't belong there. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's real, maybe it's not, but that's my experience. Another thing that helps with navigating the choices you make that have to do with other people or things that may affect other people is putting yourself in those people's shoes, putting yourself in that person's shoes. What would you have done if you were granted that same choice? A lot of people these days get caught up in this is just a bad person. This person just doesn't do this. This person just doesn't do that. This person is just full of negativity, or this person is. Put yourself in their shoes, mentally even, not even just imagining their situation. Put yourself in their shoes mentally. You have no idea what's going on in their head, and you choose whether or not to acknowledge that. You can choose to acknowledge somebody's position where you can make a choice similar or opposite to what they made. And don't base your decisions on other people, but consider their output, their situational standpoint. Consider their perspective. Be compassionate, but also be stern with yourself. Understand that you have to make a choice, and that choice is ultimately going to be one that you have to own. There may be a lot of you, like myself, that have experienced being cut out of things, being excluded from things, being left aside, to do things on my own, to be around just me. And for a while, I really didn't like that. I really just thought, why don't these people include me in their lives more? Because I want to be there. I want to be around that. But then the closer you look at it and you see the choices that they're making, you understand that that's not the best place to be for you. And I'm not going to say that every situation is going to be like that, but there are a lot of people that will see that you're trying to be a part of their lives and want nothing to do with you. And that's their choice. You made a choice to be involved with them. Ultimately, that's on you. You cannot blame them for you being involved with them. However, there are those situations where you don't expect somebody to act a certain way. But is that because of a choice that you made to gamble on them as a person? Or is that because you decided to put on rose-colored glasses, because you wanted to put on rose-colored glasses and you couldn't see past the right things they were doing for all of the wrong ones? Any situation, friends, relationships, family, any of those can apply. Again, the overall message, it is your choice who you become, what you do, the impact that you leave. All of that is your choice. Even the way you think is your choice. I heard a great quote. I think this is really helpful. It really helped me change my mindset a lot too. Whatever you are not changing, you're choosing. And I'll leave off with, make your choices with certainty and do not let anybody else decide your future for you. And as always, I'd love to see you back here. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more if you want to see any of this. And I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day.